Matt King and John Perotti with you again. You kind of noticed that things have changed since our last video. So, what ended up happening was we had conflicting schedules with Odd 13.
I have children that needed to be picked up from school.
So we kind of had to change on the fly. So we're actually just shooting from my house in Collier's Hill. And speaking of children, I am now on daddy duty. So I'm a working father. As you can hear, you'll hear screams throughout the rest of this broadcast. But we're going to talk about the commercial side of what's coming in Lafayette. And once again, we just so happen to have a couple Odd 13 beers in our fridges. So,
Yeah, it's quite delicious. I don't know if anybody out there is a big hazy IPA person, but this one, the Lupulin Amnesiac, is super smooth and delicious. It's probably the closest beer that I've found that's similar to the stylings of like Treehouse Brewing, where it's just nice and smooth. Packs a pretty good punch too. I believe this one is, what was it, 8.5? Yep, 8.5% alcohol. So, drink in moderation, but it's a good beer.
Yep. So we love our Odd 13 brews, and don't give me a hard time for drinking these out of a Pilsner glass. But you're watching the Beer with the Broker, guys. So let's chat about the commercial in Lafayette. Lafayette has a lot of commercial coming in, and it's going to be kind of spread out throughout all town. You got some of the north, south, east, west. It's going to be all over the place. The first one we're going to touch on is on the west side of town. It's at Indian Peaks Marketplace. So right where there's the Steel Ranch community, Indian Peaks community, they're looking at developing some of the last phases of that community, which is going to include 6.1 acres of mixed use. So you're going to have some commercial, you're going to have some restaurants, you're going to have some attached, some detached products. So they'll finally be able to clean or finish out that community. That it's kind of like in a desert. It's close to downtown Louisville, but not super easy walking distance. So this is going to kind of give them some option for those communities for an easy walk.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this development is that they're planning on doing both a northern retail market area as well as a southern. So
yeah,
it's kind of bookending the community, which does give a lot more of that walkability to surrounding neighborhoods in that area.
Yeah. And the community is cut right down the middle by Lafayette, Louisville. So, and it's kind of, so you've got your commercial for the Lafayette side, you got your commercial for the Louisville side. I mean, it's all in the same community, and it's all in Lafayette, but it kind of hits both areas. So yeah, it's 6.1 acres total, but yeah, it's cut into, so you'll have your north and your south. So once you go up 95th from Indian Peaks, the next community, the next little commercial project is the Galt Plaza. Galt Plaza, I'm not 100% sure on that name. This is a place you'll find me often as I get my car washed there a lot. But it's been a couple vacant lots forever.
For a while,
yeah. And so just kind of, the first stage of that commercial was, 10, 15 years ago. I think that 7-Eleven was there when I was in high school. And so now we're kind of seeing that finally come to maybe fruition here in the next, year or two. Obviously, a lot of these things, as we say, are in different stages of review within the community, within the city council. But they're talking about a mix of commercial, and then like a lot of these they do try to go to attached and then a detached product. A lot of row homes in there that look pretty cool. It's a cool idea. Gives a little bit of a buffer from the houses that have been there for 15 or 20 years. So as you go east on Arapahoe Road, that's where you will get to 287 in Arapahoe. There's the big project right there. It's going to be a number of major big box stores in the plans. They've got Tractor Supply over there. But they're still, now that it's developed, we really aren't being filled in on who's coming and when, but there's a 24-hour fitness over right there right now. Kohl's is over there. That's always nice for the holidays, makes it easier shopping. So, with the 9 Mile corner going across the street, that is going to be a large hub of commercial retail for the next few years.
All right, so further on the south side of Lafayette, right on the border of Lafayette and Broomfield, there is one large development that's going to be going in. Medtronic at a 42-acre site on the south side of the SCL Good Samaritan Hospital. So between the hospital and essentially Northwest Parkway, you're going to have 3 5-story buildings going in, along with a couple other office spaces and whatnot that I think are either 2 or 3-story units going in between. tons of parking, but this is going to be a very large site, probably pulling quite a few jobs as well, and help complement the medical offices that are already over at SCL Health.
And with the expansion of SCL Health, I can only imagine, the potential long-term, developing the rest of their site, turning parking lots into more buildings.
Yeah.
So a lot that'll be a major driver for the region, especially with Broomfield. They have a strong SCL presence too. You should see, it's really good to have that medical industry coming to that Lafayette area, that corridor.
Yes, and right now there's no information as far as how many different businesses are going in or anything like that. But I mean, just the scope of the size of the buildings and the area around, it's sure to drive quite a bit of employment.
Yeah.
Directly across 287 from the Medtronic development, there is also an apartment complex that's planned to go in over there. It's the Sundar Apartment complex. It's roughly 684 units that they're planning on right now. So if you've been driving on the Dillon and 287 corridor and seeing some of the construction that's been going on, I know they've blocked off some of the turn lanes for a little while. Basically, that's just going to be a very large apartment complex going in. Some of the things that this does for Lafayette is obviously it generates some revenue for them, which is fantastic. And 684 units is pretty good. But it also helps with the vacancy rate with Boulder Valley. It's predominantly been pretty little. I remember back in like 2010, 2011-ish, it hit a very low point where it was a primary focus to say, hey, we need to get more available homes for people to live in this area. We have a lot of jobs, but people weren't able to live in the area. So this is another way to kind of expand when you've got Medtronic going in that area, providing more jobs. As well as a lot of the mixed-use commercial and whatnot that's going in all through the Lafayette corridor up into Erie, and then expansion from Boulder. This just provides another opportunity for those who aren't quite in the market for a home, but want to still live up and enjoy the community that we're in.
Yeah, that was one of the things when I first got in the business. This area really lacked that affordable housing. The multifamily, the apartments, the condos and all that. They're just something we didn't have a lot of farmland and all that. It is starting to go away, which, it's a shame in itself, but also, for all these businesses coming in the area, there needs to be places for those folks to live.
Yeah.
So one place we plan to spend some time at in the future will be at the Vista Business Park. So there's going to be a bunch of warehouses, light industrial mixed in, something that the area is really in need of. But one thing I'm really excited about over there that's on the books is a curling center. So we're going to be getting one in the area. I know they built one down in Lakewood. I know some people that drive down that way for it, but I love curling. I've never done it. I just assume I'd be really good at it. You just drink beer and throw rocks on ice. Hey,
you throw your weight around.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I'll be graceful on that ice. I can tell you
all
that much.
All they need to do is add darts too, and you will never see us at home.
No, we'll be just shooting from there every week. But it's fun for the area because it kind of gives more activities to do as it continues to build out. I know they're planning also a large. Like a doggy daycare training center, which will be really cool. So it'll be nice to fill that in. As you drive by now, things are starting to pop up over there, and that'll be, more jobs for the area. Yeah. And then so we do have the other downtown project, which is the City Center project. So that is going to be right on South Boulder Road and South Public in Lafayette.
And it surrounds the police department and city building.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a little over 1,600 square feet of commercial, retail, all that. So it's going to be like a nice little project that they're just doing within the town. What that means is you can walk out your door, you're going right up, you're going right up to all the restaurants and all that, because the one thing that Lafayette has really done an amazing job of is fixing up their old town section.
Yes.
So it's going to be just walking distance. So that's going to be a number of apartments and all, and as well in there. So you'll have I think about 200 units are going in there. So more folks just for daytime traffic, which is so important for those old town sections.
Yes, and the other benefit to that area as well is RTD has a pickup station right there.
Want to thank you guys for joining us. Matt King, John Perotti. We're with the King team at Kentwood Real Estate. We're the Beer With You Brokers guys. Want to thank you for joining us on this update on Lafayette. Join us tomorrow. We're going to have a little bit more for you. If you guys have any questions, thinking of getting into the market, make sure to give us a shout. My number and John's number, as well as our partner Paula's, will all be posted at the end of this video, including our emails. So don't hesitate to give us a shout. Thanks and cheers. We'll see you next time.
Whoa.
There.
That was horrible.
Mm.
Such a fancy glass, we didn't want to hurt.